Bernardi Auto, they've got Audis, Hondas, and Toyotas. They are the ones who sponsor who Mazz thinks is a fraud and who's for real. Mazz's tears.
Yeah, those are the tears of a clown.
Mazz's tears.
The second tier. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears.
Dallas. Buffalo. Tennessee.
Mazz's tears.
Third tier. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears. 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 Tears.
Time for Mazz's Tears, presented by the Bernardi Automotive Group. When it comes to auto dealers, the Bernardi Auto Group always finishes first. They sell and service Acura, Audi, Honda, Nissan, Toyota, and Volvo. Bernardi for now, Bernardi for life. Visit them now at BernardiAutoGroup.com. You know, really, it's supposed to be the guy in the number 2 chair that does the tiers. So we really should have made it Murray's tears this week.
Yeah, but they're Mazz's tears.
I know, Murray. I know, but I'm more comfortable doing them from that chair for some reason.
I got you.
So, but
what are they now?
Okay, so today's tiers, this week's tiers, worst decisions or blunders of the Bill Belichick era. Okay, now, so this gets, this gets a little tricky because, there's always do you combine things? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it's self-explanatory as we go. But we're going to start with tier 3, and I limited it to 10 because otherwise you get into some pretty stupid things like, I didn't like the trade of Seymour. Okay, I didn't like it either, but wasn't the end of the world. They survived it.
Cutting lawyer Malloy.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are, and again, they won the Super Bowl that year. Not that that is the ultimate verdict on everything, but you get the idea. They had to be costly, significant mistakes in varying degrees. So we'll start with tier 3. Let's do that.
Sure.
Okay, tier 3. The drafting of N'Keal Harry in the first round, big mistake. Didn't even come close.
Well, and you also had to work really hard to screw up finding a wide receiver in the first few rounds of the 2019 draft.
Excellent point, Murray. There were a lot of guys available, and they didn't hit on any of them. They went with N'Keal Harry. Bill overruled his scouts, as we now know. That was really Bill's sort of renegade Bill, doing what he wanted, ignoring everybody else. He got it wrong.
And doing something to benefit one of his buddies, too. There was a rapport with the coach at Arizona State. I'll go with him over my scouts. I'm taking this guy, F you all.
Absolutely. In fact, you're going to see a common theme with all these decisions in Tier 3 because number 2 was drafting Chad Jackson. Big mistake. Big mistake. Again, traded up for him, top of the second round. Significant investment in the player, could not play. Worse than N'Keal Harry.
Oh, yeah, he was trash.
So again, the tiers are in no specific order. We're just lumping them together. You want to put Jackson ahead of Harry? Fine. Have at it. Have a blast. But Chad Jackson, N'Keal Harry, both in tier 3, both horrible decisions, along with tier 3. Murray, again, do you sense a common theme so far in tier 3?
He is drafting poorly.
Okay, but also Jackson and Harry have what in common?
Wide receivers.
Okay, so if I were to put another wide receiver decision in tier 3, what would it be?
Bethel Johnson?
Deion Branch.
Deion Branch.
Oh.
Very good, Joe Murray. In this case, not drafting Deion Branch, letting him leave.
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
That was a mistake. That was a big mistake.
Cost him a Super Bowl.
So they had that whole debacle that was 2006. They ultimately figured it out a little bit at the end with Riche Caldwell, Doug Gabriel, Jabbar Gaffney joined the team late. But it really took him a long time to figure that out. And Deion Branch was Brady's guy.
Oh, without question. Those two had a mind meld thing going on there. They have him. They get out of Indianapolis, and they obviously beat the Bears. You're right. That cost them a Super Bowl.
So tier 3, N'Keal Harry, Chad Jackson, Deion Branch. All wide receiver decisions. Now we'll go to tier 2. It gets a little worse for Bill in tier 2. These become more significant decisions. Not playing Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, tier 2.
How's this only tier 2?
Wow. Yes, that's a light tier.
Wow.
Okay, well, again, it's a light tier until you get to tier 1.
Okay.
Okay, bad decision. Bad decision.
Cost them a Super Bowl.
Right, Bill's spiteful with regard to Malcolm Butler, leaves him on the bench. They give up 43, 41, whatever it was, Murray. 40-some-odd points to the Eagles, almost 600 yards of offense. Tier 2, 4th and 2 against Indianapolis, going for it from his own 28-yard line. That's another stupid decision. Just kick the effing ball. What, you got so smart, you wouldn't even... Manning might have scored anyway, but we don't know.
You've got to give your defense a chance, even if
Could
you
have
don't
fumbled on a
trust it.
snap.
Okay, take the chance. You don't go for it there. And then stupid play call. And then underrated screw up by Bill Belichick, and you pointed this out, Murray. The end of the 2015 season, how Bill managed the end of the 2015 season, the Patriots were 10-0 that year. Then they lost at Denver, if you remember. That was the game where the guy fumbled the punt, the guy that, it was like a scrub. Harper?
Yeah.
Was it a Harper?
I know the play you're talking about. I always think of that as that's a Brock Osweiler game.
Okay, right, so they lost that game in Denver. But
no, the December is unconscionable.
go, tell me what happened.
They start off at home late against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that was like a 4-win Eagles team at the time, and they got destroyed. Like, they got absolutely throttled by that bad Eagles team.
The mortar kick.
The mortar kick game. A lot of people remember for that. So that's how they start the month. And I think they might have won a game at Houston, if I recall correctly, and then they have the overtime game at the Jets where Bill elects to kick to them, and they lose in overtime. And then you have the game at Miami where he runs Steven Jackson like 30 times in a row, where they just waved the white flag and didn't even take the game seriously. And they don't end up with home field advantage. You have to go to Denver in the AFC Championship game, and you lose by just a handful of points. If that game's home, the Patriots are going to beat Denver at home in the AFC Championship game. I feel really confident about that at that time of Peyton Manning's career. I don't care how good that defense was of Denver, who ended up winning the title that year.
Correct.
But he fumbled the bag so badly with that last month. I think people forget about that because we're now like 10 years removed from it. But the end of 2015, he handled that so bad.
He got so cocky that they could win on the road that he gave away home field. They were 10-0. They finished 12-4, and he butchered those 3 games. You want to say the game at Denver wasn't on him because, again, they botched that punt? You remember there was a kid, there was like a non-roster guy.
Chris Harper?
Chris Harper.
Chris Harper,
Bingo.
there
Very
it is.
good. Very good, Joe. Chris Harper was a non-roster guy. He botched the punt. It was snowing, I think, that day.
Yeah,
Brock
it was.
Osweiler.
It was.
Yeah, Denver got back in it, and that was the end of that. But the other 3 were all on Bill. Bill blew that season. He blew that season. All right, finally, Tier 1. Biggest mistakes of the Bill Belichick era. Number 1 should be pretty obvious. Cutting ties with Tom Brady. Okay, that's number 1 on the list, and I would go so far as to add how he managed the quarterback situation thereafter, meaning Cam Newton, there was no contingency plan. So cutting ties with Brady, number 1. Number 2, Matt Patricia and Joe Judge entrusted with the offense. You're going to find that these 2 really were the big ones at the end to me because they all relate to the quarterback position. Patricia and Judge was a fireable offense. That may have ruined Mac Jones.
Well, and you said at the time, too, if this was any other coach, he'd probably be fired at the end of that season. You're right.
That was a horrible, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Delinquent decision.
Negligent.
Negligent is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Murray. Negligent. Horrible decision. 3, Spygate. Spygate was all Bill, and the damage it did to the franchise was significant. So when I say bad decision, think of all the crap the Patriots have had to live with and endure because of Spygate, all because Bill had to ignore the league, thumb his nose at the league, give him the finger. Spygate was a big one.